Hold on. Hey guys, it's Rottweiler back at it again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about that tier list I made recently, but more specifically I'm going to be talking about a certain character I didn't cover on that tier list. That's right, I'm talking about Forsburn. This is going to be a pretty hard video for me personally because there's a lot of things I want to cover about Forsburn. Not only that, but there are quite a few people who think Forsburn is good, right? And that, I mean, he is good, right? When I say Forsburn is the worst character, again, no character in this game is bad, right? Forsburn may be the worst, but that does not mean he's bad. No one is bad. He just has the most work cut out for him to win out of all the other characters. So first things first, I want to talk about one of Forsburn's biggest flaws, that being his movement speed, his overall movement speed, right? And if you look at this chart by Eagle here, that represents the maximum speed each character can reach. You may see names on here a few times, but that is just to show like different states the character is in. Like Raster's pretty slow, but almost at the very top he's up there because in Slipstream he becomes one of the fastest characters. Forsburn's on there very low at his running speed, and then he's pretty decent with his wave dash speed. Not really decent on like the lower end still with his wave dash speed, right? And the only characters he outspeeds in his fastest state, which is wave dashing, is Eliana and Crag. And Eliana you got to give some leeway to because she's in the air most of the time, so her running speed and ground speed is pretty irrelevant. And Crag is a zoner as well as Eliana, so he doesn't really need the movement speed that Forsburn does, because Forsburn is a combo character, or a character with like a combo kit with the movement speed of a zoner, which is terrible and doesn't really make any sense. And we'll talk more about that as we get on later to the video. So because Forsburn is not a fast character and he cannot get in easily because of his speed, he has to use a lot of platform movement, which is good, but also a big hindrance because it makes your neutral quite predictable. Why is that predictable? Because everyone knows, well, if they know the matchup and they know the weakness and limits of your character, they'll know that your character isn't fast on the ground. Forsburn can at least be more mobile on a platform. He has more options to work with because his aerials are really good from platform dropping, plat drop, aerials, aka people are going to know you're going to the platform, so they'll just hit you while you're trying to get there, or they'll cut off your options. They'll put something in the way like a lily plant or absent cloud, so you can't jump there, and that is where he starts to struggle in neutral. And not only the fact that the Forsburn is going to the platform is predictable, but his approach is also predictable because most of his approaches are coming from the air. He's almost always going to the platform and then running off with like a nair or a forward air, right? Or he's like dash dancing on the platform waiting for you to overextend so he can fall down with a forward air or nair, right? So these things are very, very predictable. And what he gets off of these hits is very little. That's the second flaw of Forsburn, or the next major flaw of Forsburn, is that he doesn't get a lot off of his hits unless the opponent DIs in. Forsburn gets nothing even at no percent. You can be at 0% against Forsburn. He'll get like a nair combo to down tilt, forward air, whatever, right? Into like maybe like a nair finisher or something, right? Let me just demonstrate what I mean, actually. I'm going to put it on even the biggest character in the game. Where's Eliana? I'm going to have her DI out and, and drift out. If the opponent only just holds away, this is all I can really get. Right? You get about 40 damage. And that is essentially the max Forsburn can do to you, even at 0, right? The only time, again, when he looks broken is when the opponent does not hold out. Right? Another flaw of him is that his edge guarding is not the strongest, but I'll get to that later. I mainly want to focus on his combo game. Forsburn is a character that does very little damage if the opponent holds out. And his only move in his entire kit that actually punishes out is back air. And the thing about that 40%, right, is that once they reach that 40% threshold, you can't do even that another 40% on them again if they hold out. Look at that. Like, I can't do anything really except like maybe fair, and they get so far away. And this is again the biggest modeled character in the game and the heaviest character, so they don't fly as far as other characters when they get hit. So even Eliana cannot be hit too often if she just holds out. He's a character who has like a lot of like quote unquote combo attacks, but they only really combo if the opponent gives it to you by holding in. If I pick Sylvanos here, it wouldn't matter if they were only at 40%, 70%. I'm still going to combo them for about 50, 60 damage. Raster, no matter how they hold, until they get to about like 80 or 90, he doesn't care how you DI. He's still going to reach you with his slipstream, right? If the conditions are met, right? If slipstream is out and they have the execution, yeah, you're not getting away from the Raster. Same with Eliana. If they have the execution, you're not getting away from the Eliana. Like if you've seen Sparks clips, if you've seen Halite clips, you don't get away from these. Even Graceful Knight, right? Even though Graceful Knight isn't like the most combo central or centric Eliana, he still gets the combos regardless of how you DI because of how the character's kit works. If the mine is on you and it blows up, you're stuck in place, and Graceful Knight's coming in for that finisher, right? That's how these characters work. You don't get away from them. And the characters that don't work that way, like Sylvanos and Raster and Eliana, right, who don't just like kill you regardless or damage you regardless of how you DI, they have very strong ledge pressure, right? Orcane bubbles at the ledge. Crag has rocks, down B, pebble shards, and he has the pillar. Absa has her cloud, etc., etc., right? These characters are really powerful and notable Edgeguard tools. And what does Forsburn have, right? He really only shines around this area. This area is where Forsburn wants his opponent, because here his down air is going to kill at like 50 or 60, and that sounds extremely good, and it is really good. This is one of the strongest parts about Forsburn. If I was to say you want like to use the full strength of the character, you need to be landing this down air around here. So this down air is a godsend, and this back air is his only other attack, right? But as you can see, this back air has a good amount of startup and whiff lag. And why is that important? Because that means if you don't call out their recovery around here, right, you don't get a second chance to hit them, so they get back for free. And you don't want that, obviously, when you're edge guarding someone. You don't want them to come back. If you get the back air, it's going to put them back in the same scenario, but now their percent is higher up, so it's technically a worse scenario because now they're in a more like deadly position. And the last thing Forsburn can really do for edge guarding is this clone. If you decide being hold the special, you can drop the clone down, right? If you don't hold special, the clone will immediately jump and spawn in the air, and then he'll pop it, right? Because Forsburn can pop his clone by pressing down B. So if he drops it down there, he can potentially get like a clone spike, which is not the strongest, or the clone would just hit you for 8 damage, right? And it is annoying, but it's not again killing you, and it's not something that's as good as Absa Cloud, because Forsburn's clone can be hit out of the way, unlike Absa's Cloud, something that you cannot contest really, right? So again, he has just the clone dropping, he has back air, and he has down air. This is the maximum height Forsburn can go, right? This is his double jump height, right? And this is his back air after the double jump, right? That's the highest he can go. Meaning, if your character can go anywhere above that, you are completely safe. He has to do something like this up air, which is not very rewarding on hit if he has to double jump, even if he hit falls it, right? But the thing about getting hit by his up air is that you can DI it toward the center of the stage at this point. You don't have to go back off. So you take like the 7% from his up air, maybe 14 if he gets a second one, but you are now back on stage. And so his edge guarding is not really that threatening. And again, this means Forsburn has to work harder. So Forsburn has about 4 reliable kill moves in his kit, and that would be his up smash, his down smash, his back air, and his down air. Okay, so here's the problem with Forsburn's 4 kill moves. 1, his up smash is not reliable. As you can see, you have to hit a very specific part of his up smash to get it to work, but this move has too much of a tendency, especially on the ground, to actually not work, especially at like max range. Let's see, like that, right? Max range, you won't be getting it. His back air, like I said before, is very slow and laggy, and because it's a back air, it's very telegraphed when he wants to land it. So Forsburn's up air to back air is like his best setup into his back air, right? Because you pop them up and then you follow them with the back air, right? But if you up air them and they just hold out, right, you will never get that back air because they're always going so far in front of you. And so if you know the Forsburn setups, he's very limited, right? His down tilt to back air is another very consistent back air setup for Forsburn. So at 90%, they DI in, you back air him, right? It's very easy, not very easy, but it's very consistent. But the problem with this, as all the Forsburn kill moves basically, is that if you hold out, he can't ever dare dream of landing that back air on you, right? So again, he does this, and he has to keep working because he can't kill you. The next kill move I want to talk about is Forsburn's down air. And it's kind of hard to call this move a kill move, but it is one of his only consistent kill moves. And the problem with his down air is that it is very, very weak. And if you hold in on this, you don't ever die. Let's see when that down air would actually kill, right? 185. Oh, no, not at all. Okay. Let's just go up. Let's go to 250, right? Let's just go to 250. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. It still didn't Galaxy. Let's go to 270. Oh, look at that. It still didn't Galaxy. Let's go to 300. 300 should be fine, right? It's 300. Damn, she recovered after that. That's fucked up. Okay, let's try 300 here. Nope, still didn't Galaxy. 300%. Oh, this move is really weak. So you see, Forsburn is not really a strong character. If you look at his down smash, even, right? It won't kill at 130. Definitely. And she's floaty, right? It won't kill at 130. Won't kill at 140 on the platform. Won't kill at 150. Won't kill at 160. Right? Finally kills at 170. To live Forsburn's down smash, you just have to DI out and drift in, and you will never die. So Forsburn's recovery is next. And the reason that his recovery is undoubtedly and by far the worst recovery in the game, like undisputably the worst recovery in the game. The reason why is airspeed is terrible. I'm the one on the bottom, by the way. And as you see, Forsburn, I already had to burn my double jump, by the way, to get this far, right? I am the bottom Forsburn. And it took my clone and my double jump to even get this far. So I already don't have a double jump to work with here. And now I have to do a mix-up, because if I reappear, let me just go over the mechanics of his up B, right? So Forsburn reappears in the air and he lands. He has 10 frames of lag and he can move as soon as he lands. But if he reappears on the stage, he has 20 frames of lag, right? So the problem with having to come in the air, you don't want to just be in free fall like this. As I've shown you like in previous videos with Zetterburn, right? You can do something like this, throw a fireball, right, and then you're fine. Forsburn doesn't really have an option like that. Forsburn has a very slow back air, and if it's parried, well then shit. You're gonna get knocked back off or you're gonna die for it. And reappearing on stage, because this is a hitbox, by the way, this is what makes it also bad, is that it can be parried. Right? You can be parried and then you get knocked back off, right? Exactly. Like that scenario has hit so many Forsburns. It's the same time every time. It's not like you can like mess up the timing, right? Throw them off. It's literally the same time every time. So if they get this down and they literally just see you do this, they just parry and then you die. Moving on to the next aspect of his recovery that is, you know, people think it's really good, is the clone, right? And it actually is good. This is a saving grace to like his recovery, is this clone. And if you get really, really good at the game, I'm talking like the highest level, this clone actually makes it so you don't know which is the real one, like at all, right? Like I'm sure some people don't even know who I am right now. In most cases, The Forsburns who are using this are just using it to get closer to the stage, right? Because again, he doesn't have the air mobility to get to the stage without burning resources, right? So he has to use something to push him forward, and that could be his clone. Because when you make it, you get to choose, or you can either be reverse the clone, so you go like on the left, or you just do the normal side B and you go on the right, right? And you do whichever one you need to get closer to the wall, okay? First of all, this takes 26 frames, or around 20 something frames like that, right? Which means you can be hit for doing this for one, right? And you're not fast in the air, so they can easily go out there and read this and then like hit you for it, right? For one. And two, it's very obvious that 9 times out of 10, the Forsburn in the front is the real Forsburn, because they're using it to get closer to the stage. But a lot of people don't know that, and they just wait it out. And if you have Sylvanos or Absa, then you just don't really care about this in the first place, because Forsburn can be swatted by Sylvanos Fair or hit by Absa Cloud, so they really don't even care about that, right? And the thing about this is that they nerfed this, right? So if I'm doing this side B, you can hear the sadness in my voice, I'm sure. If I'm doing this side B, and then, oops, yeah, if I get hit out of it, you see like that little Forsburn icon on the bottom? It goes off, which means I can't use a clone. That's what that indicator means. And if I get hit, I don't have my clone for a while. So let's say I'm using this off stage to recover, and I get hit. Now I don't have my clone for a period of time, and that is valuable time that Forsburn needs. Otherwise, he's going to be falling down, and he has to do a terrible recovery because, again, this is not good at all. That's not good at all. Again, they parry that second one, you get hit, and no matter how much you try to delay that up B, right? As soon as they see you start, they're gonna know when to parry. Well, what I like to do is this: make a clone in the smoke and then jump back on stage. But that is doing a lot of risky stuff, the way I do it there, because you're still there. They can just hit this. And if they have a projectile, oh my god, Forsburn struggles so much to recover against projectiles, because then it's even less commitment for the opponent, and they can do it no matter where you try to do the setup. Edalus literally has, let me try to show this. Obviously you wouldn't do it that way, but these icicles get rid of everything. They get rid of the smoke, they get rid of the clone, they hit the Forsburn, it does everything you need it to do. And that is essentially what all projectiles do to Forsburn when he's in his smoke off stage. It's a lot of work for Forsburn to come back to the stage. It's very hard. It's honestly his weakest point. He just, honestly, Forsburn, it's kind of like the theme of Forsburn. He just does a lot of work, right? And it's not like him being on stage is also his, like, a strong point either. Because like I said, his combo game is not like going to make up for that, right? You have to play a very smart and slow and methodical neutral game to win with Forsburn. That's why I usually commend people for playing Forsburn, because he takes so much game knowledge and constant adaptation and constant conditioning to actually win. Alright guys, believe it or not, I've been recording for 2 hours. I'm gonna call it here. I've talked about why I think his neutral is pretty subpar. His recovery is absolutely the worst in the game. His combo potential is very limited, especially at mid and high percents, and his kill moves are absolutely pathetic. That's been my reasoning on why Forsburn was that low on that tier list. He just has a lot of limitations. He's not really a strong character, and he requires, this is the main thing, he requires so much work, so much constant execution. And the reward you get for that just isn't there, right? It's not there. Like, just play Rano. Literally just play Rano. Why are you, or Raster, who's still pretty technical, very hard actually. People may shit on Raster or don't like him because he's like, the best and he's really cancer and AIDS when he hits you, but at least he takes a lot of skill, right? And he rewards people with a lot of skill and a lot of execution. Forsburn doesn't even reward people for the amount of stuff you got to put in for him, and that is why he's there. All right, guys, that's been Rottweiler on the mic. See you next time.
Flame to your neck, that's a choke slam. Setter call a Ford to assassinate.